Clippers, what was it? Back early last week, we looked at the last 3 games for the Clippers, and we just wrote the Clippers in for 3. And we were on this podcast saying, okay, they're just going to win their last 3. It was Charlotte, Houston, and OKC. You're like, they got this in the bag. They go against Charlotte, they win by like 20. You're like, all right, cool. You're just going to run the table. You're going to finish 3, and that's it. They go into Houston and purposely lose, and you're like, oh,
last 2 games, Houston and OKC, literally the 2 worst teams.
And it's like, can you out tank OKC right now? Because they're on a historic tank job right now. Yeah. And they went in OKC and they did it all because, and I'm saying right here, I'm not saying any other reason out there, all because they want Dallas in round 1.
So that's the theory, is that they wanted Dallas in round 1. Because
that's what I'm believing.
Because if they had won those last 2 games, they would have been the 3rd seed. And the Mavericks probably would have finished 5th.
If they just won one of the last 2 games, they would be 3rd seed.
The other theory that I will not endorse as highly, because yes, we believe that the Clippers wanted the Mavericks, and we believe that they picked their opponent and picked the Mavericks instead. The other theory that I think most people subscribe to is that the Clippers are trying to avoid the Lakers in some way. And they did this by, if they beat their first round opponent as the 3rd seed, their second round opponent would probably be the Lakers. If they were the 4th seed, then they wouldn't have to face the Lakers until the Western Conference Finals, if it worked out the way that they thought, and the Lakers were in 7th. So
we'll take it this way. Either way, it's disrespect to Dallas, because if you're doing this to avoid the Lakers in the second round, then you think it's an easy win over Dallas. And so either way, it's a disrespect
already thinking
factor
past
to
the
Dallas.
First round in that other scenario anyway, right?
Either they did this because they want Dallas, or they did it because they want to avoid the Lakers in the second round. Thus implies that, hey, no big deal. We're beating Dallas in the first round. So either way,
the Mavericks in the first round.
Yeah. They're disrespecting the Mavericks in the first round too. So
100%.
And everything built up. Like we know everything. We're going to talk about the storylines of this series, but if there's ever been a time for a sweet, sweet revenge, now's the time.
Absolutely.